Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk Schools, where we take the opportunity to inform our family of the many wonderful and dynamic things happening in the district. Today I have a very special guest with me, and the timing is so appropriate. Yngrid Huff, the Executive Director of Operational Planning. Ms. Huff, welcome to Let's Talk Schools.
Thank you, Dr. Looney. Good morning.
So tell me a little bit about what the Executive Director of Operational Planning does.
So our office is charged with enrollment projections, how students are enrolled in school. We also have the wonderful task of redistricting students as well as hardship transfers. So any parent who wants to take the option to move their student from their residential homeschool to another school in the district, we manage that process as well.
So talk to us a little bit about how you go about the work of enrollment projections.
So enrollment projections are predicting how many students we'll have in schools in future years. It begins with accurate data, so we start with where students live and actually geocode them to their home address. And then we look at grade level progressions, moving them from one grade to the next, from one school to the next. And then also where we're seeing development occurring in the area, looking at how many students we anticipate from that development, looking at grade level attrition, so students entering and exiting the school district for things like private school or return from private school or homeschool. Even we have metrics that track whether we see dropout rates in certain high schools. That's all included in our analysis, as well as students who are enrolling, so kindergarten to kindergarten. Of course, our kindergarten population is new each year. It's really hard to predict that, but we anticipate, a K to K type of enrollment, and that's how we project our student population.
So I kind of envision, based on what you said, kind of a data mega center. It's
Absolutely.
Like you're crunching a bunch of numbers, you're
Yes.
looking at statistics,
Yes.
birth rates, and all that sort of
Birth
thing.
rates as well. Yes, I left that part out. So we do.
So I will compliment you, first of all. I know that that's tremendously difficult work. But I also know that you have historically been within a percentage point of accurate
Yes.
in your projections.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Looney. We have, this last 2 years have been a challenge with COVID. It's been really hard to predict when and where our families would enroll, but prior to that, we were definitely within the plus or minus 1% accuracy range.
So Fulton County is unique in that it's got a northern quadrant, and then it's not contiguous. It's actually separated by Atlanta Public Schools, and then we return to Fulton County Schools. So let's talk about the three, or now we have four quadrants. We have the northern section,
Yes.
we have the Sandy Springs section, then we have Atlanta Public Schools, which is not us, and then we have the southern section of Fulton County. And we just recently added a fourth. Do you want to speak to that?
Absolutely. So FAVE, which is our Fulton Academy of Virtual Excellence, serves the entire district's grade 3 through 11 currently. We'll add a 12th grade next year, but students from across the district can enroll in Fulton in FAVE. And so it has impacted the percent and change of growth because we had to account for those students remaining in the virtual campus.
Right. And about how many students do we have enrolled in FAVE?
We have about 1,300 students district-wide. The largest percentage of those students this year are in South County, so about 57% of those, about 11% in Sandy Springs, and the balance is in North Fulton.
Okay, so give the public a broad perspective over the course of the next 5 years or so. What does your thing that predicts the future say? What's going to happen with student
So it's our crystal ball,
Your
we
crystal
call
ball.
it. Absolutely,
Crystal ball.
it's our crystal ball.
What does your crystal ball say?
So it's a little bit bleak right now, and let me just say that enrollment right now is expected to decline. And it has been declining slightly for the last few years, but because of the COVID impact, it has truly impacted our primary grade. So when you think about projections for 5 years out, that is causing a major impact on future enrollment. We hope that over the course of time, we will reset those expectations. It's a decline of about 3,800 students, which is mostly at middle school because our smaller grades, kindergarten and first grade, will then have matriculated to middle school. We're hoping that at some point those students over the next 5 years will return to the district and we'll have more stabilization of enrollment.
Okay, so the projection is that enrollment will slowly decline. Continue declining. We've been declining for the last couple of years, and we're not sure if people will eventually come back or move in. But I do know this, and I hear this a lot. There's a lot of development. There's a lot of housing units hitting the market. New construction, housing churn. So how do you collect that data and use that data and then extrapolate what that means in student enrollment?
Yes, students will definitely enroll. We have a ton of development. I think district-wide we're tracking over 50,000 new homes in the future. We work with our municipal partners, with our planning agencies across all of our cities in the county to track each rezoning case, from rezoning to land disturbance to construction to occupancy. We include those in our projections. We have a large percent of that development that's occurring in South Fulton County. North Fulton, we have some development. In Sandy Springs, it's kind of halted. For single family, we have a lot of redevelopment, which is causing a negative impact on student enrollment. But we do expect families to continue to move into our county, to continue to enroll their students. It's just the rate of growth that we're going to see from those new developments, how quickly they can build. We are closing over 500 new homes every quarter in South Fulton. So I do expect some of that drop and decline in enrollment to reset and those students to enroll in our school district, as well as in North Fulton. We're seeing families still move in. Our cohorts are growing. So while our district is shrinking in total, it's because birth rates internationally are declining. Families and young adults are waiting later in life to have children. So we're seeing that impact across the entire nation as well as across the entire world. However, the good thing about Fulton is we still have a lot of land in our county, and families are moving in as those new homes come online.
Well, I'm a testament to that. I had my first child at 22, and my oldest son now just had his second child, my second grandson, and they waited till their mid-30s to have children.
Absolutely.
And they're not planning on having as many children as the historical pattern of my family has been. So people are waiting longer, and they're deciding to have fewer children, than we have historically.
Absolutely.
Interesting. And so when people are buying these new homes, I'm assuming that the impact as far as student growth is less than it would have been historically.
Absolutely. We track our student yields, which is what we called incoming population based on residential development, by our high school feeder pattern. So we're seeing fewer students coming in, but then we're having some areas that aren't growing at all because of residential development. In Sandy Springs, we're not tracking one single family detached development in the entire planning region.
You know, I still am blown away by the fact that we have 90,000 plus students at the moment, and you can come within less than 1% of accurately predicting enrollment across the district, and even at the school level. You're very, very accurate at the school. I don't know how you do it. I don't know what crystal balls and data center you're using, but it's absolutely amazing. I'm blown away by that.
Thank you. And our high schools were within 29 students district-wide, so that was a pretty good estimate this year.
No, that's an awesome estimate. We're fortunate to have you. Thank you so much for being a team member. Now, I do know that this school board values giving choice to families to the extent that we can, right?
Absolutely.
So talk to us about how do families make application, or, you know, if school A is not a good fit for them for whatever reason, how do they navigate the process to get to a different school?
Absolutely. So we have a hardship process where parents can exercise their options for multiple reasons. So at elementary, let's say you have a child in a child care situation that needs to transfer to another school. You can apply for that. We have medical transfers that are available. And at the middle and high school level, we have curriculum transfers. So if there's a pathway that a student would like to take advantage of, they can apply for another school outside of their home school to participate in that curricular offering.
So if a family has a legitimate reason to want to go to another school, then there's a process.
There is a process,
okay.
Yes. They can apply to do that.
So when you say apply, talk to me about how they go about that. Do they go to the website? Do they make a telephone call? What does it look like?
So on our website, during the application window, which just closed, for hardship transfers, they can apply online. They would have been able to provide us the details and information, and we'll send those out and process them according to what the request is. We do have another option, which is called open enrollment, which is where parents don't have to have a specific reason. That's a provision of House Bill 251 that was was passed, I think in 2009, where parents can take advantage of any school in the district that has space. The fortunate thing in Fulton County this year is that we're going to have a lot of schools on that list because we're in a place where we have a good number of seats available in all of our elementary, middle, and high schools. So that process will start May 1st. It actually started in March 1st for students who have IEPs. So it's called SB 10 transfers for those students, and it's ongoing through the end of May. And then May 1st through May 15th, parents can apply for open enrollment. We'll publish the list of schools on our website. It's an online application. They can rank 3 schools for choice, and then we will process those applications. Depending on the number of applications that we receive and the lottery of seats that we have, we'll have a lottery to select students and place them by June.
So let's assume for a second a parent wants to open enroll their child. The application window, as you said, is from May 1st to the middle of May. And they make application, they get approved. Do they have to reapply every year, or is it a permanent placement?
Absolutely. It is a permanent placement until the student completes the highest grade at that school.
That's pretty incredible.
Absolutely.
You know, that's
Absolutely.
unique for a school district.
Yes.
Usually school districts are pretty tight. You know, you're zoned to this school. We're going to provide you transportation. That's the school you have to go to. Now, do we provide transportation for open enrollment?
For open enrollment nor hardships do we provide transportation, because a student could transfer from Palmetto all the way to Milton. So that would be extreme cost for the district, and it could be 2 or 3 students who do that. But we certainly give parents the opportunity to take advantage of that opportunity to place their students in a school that they may deem as a good choice for them.
Giving parents choice is critically important to the board,
Absolutely.
and our school district is deeply invested in that process. Thank you for that information. I have one final question, and I hate to even bring this word up. This is my 19th year as a superintendent, and I've survived a couple of these, and they're always hard. But talk about generally, broadly, the redistricting timeline. I know that we have some schools that are a little bit tight with enrollment, and we have some schools that have a lot of capacity.
Absolutely.
Which brings to the forefront the idea of doing some balancing, redistricting.
Yes. Yes, so redistricting is always a fun, high-spirited process. We begin each rezoning typically in the fall. So around October, once we're starting the enrollment projections process, we look at a timeline for redistricting around October through December. We have board-approved criteria on how we rezone our students. Geographic proximity and enrollment are first, and then capacity of each building. So we'll go through that process, engage the community. It's a community-driven process. We have secondary criteria, look at other factors such as traffic and how frequently neighborhoods have been rezoned. We'll work with the community. We'll bring them maps on the second round. So the first round, we just ask a bunch of questions and then come back typically in November and December and give the community the opportunity to give us feedback on what they like about each map and what they don't like. And trust me, they're very vocal about what they don't like. And we will then bring to the board in January a recommendation based on that feedback that we received.
And I know that we've had some conversations, but let's just go ahead and talk about it publicly.
Sure.
And the board has had this conversation. Are we expecting a conversation this fall to do some balance?
Absolutely, we are.
Is it going to, so do you think it's going to be a district-wide thing, or do you think it's going to be pockets in the district?
I think it will be probably pockets. Will definitely be north and south. Whether we need to balance anything in Sandy Springs is yet to be determined, but we do have some overcrowding at both levels, at all levels, in some areas of the county that I think we could look at some realignment. We also have a new school that we opened, a new building at Crabapple Middle School, so we never did rezoning around that, so we may consider that as an option as well.
Right. Sounds like a lot of exciting and publicly engaging conversations
Absolutely.
ahead. And so for our families, they should be anticipating some public conversations about redistricting school zones this fall. Thank you so much for your insight. You do incredibly important work and obviously are very, very meticulous and accurate at projecting using your crystal ball to help us make decisions about how to best support our families in Fulton County Schools. Folks, thank you so much for joining us for Let's Talk Schools. I hope this was an informative session. We look forward to seeing you again soon.